Hey, what's happening everyone? Welcome to the channel. Today I'd like to showcase something that I've been working on for the past couple of weeks using leftover or salvaged parts from our previous builds. And as you know from the title, it is of course a silver VSR 10. Now we had silver parts, as those of you who have been following the channel already know, that we had silver parts from bolt end cap there, the bolt handle as you can see, and the receiver all by Action Army. But one thing we didn't have was any other part in silver. So what we did was we took all the original Tokyo Marui parts and sanded them until we got a silver finish. And this is what it looks like. Now as you can see, it kind of looks like silver machining. That's because we did all this by hand. What we did was we held the sandpaper to it. We started off with a 220 grit and we just went around and around and around until all the paint come off, and we ended up with this almost machined like finish. Sorry about the lighting. We're a few lights short in this video, but hopefully you can kind of see how it looks like it's been machined, but it's all actually done by hand. If you look here, you can see that the top rail has been sanded by us again, by hand. It took quite a long time actually sanding all these parts, but what we wanted was some contrasting or matching parts. As you see, these black parts in there still have the coating on them, which we couldn't remove because we couldn't sand inside there, or we could, but it would just take too long. So we decided to leave those parts in to give them a little bit of a contrasting look. As you can see here, everything kind of goes well nicely. The one single part that we don't have on this is the spring and the plunger that goes inside there, which holds the bolt handle up. So at the moment, this is just floppy, but it's all working. Here are some of the markings that was on the original Tokyo Marui barrel, so you guys know that it is an original one. All we did was sand it off the coating. Now, there is something we could tell you about, a quick tip that some shops use when they're working on your rifles or when they're going for a specific look. Now, some airsoft shops, mainly in Asia, but I do believe a lot of other shops do the same kind of thing. When you buy an airsoft pistol for them, or you ask for a custom or a special, sometimes they'll do some modeling work on it. Now, what that means is, aside from the internal upgrades that you'll get, they'll also work on the outside of the pistol or the rifle as well, just to give it a bit more of a unique or a more realistic look. Oftentimes when we buy a pistol, it's got some sort of coating on there or paint that kind of makes it look less appealing, okay? So it will come out of the factory with this black coating or paint that just looks really, really gummy and thick. You can kind of tell just by looking at it that it doesn't look great. Now, I'm not talking about the anodizing coatings or anything like that. I'm talking about things like when they have actual physical paint on them, okay? Or as you know, with Tokyo Marui parts, they have some black coatings on certain metal parts, which is very hard to remove, but it's not really a pain, okay? So one thing that shops do is they try and make the finish look a bit more authentic, okay? What they're going for is a blued steel look, and I'll give you not really the secret, but what they do is they do that just simply by sanding. You guys know that already, but newcomers to the sport or newcomers to the hobby won't really know this, okay? So if you're thinking, oh wow, how come that slide looks slightly more realistic than mine? It's because they've sanded it to look a bit more like blue steel, and I'll show you what we mean here. So as you can see, this is the barrel that I've been working on for a little bit now. As you can see, this part's already taken off completely down, but before you get to this part, the coating actually is quite thick. So what you will start off with first is these machine marks here. Now don't worry about the vertical lines or the light catching on it. What I'm trying to show you is the false machining marks into the barrel. So if you look really closely, you can kind of see that there's lines, and that's very, very similar, not exactly, but very similar to blued steel. And that's one of the trade methods of making slides, metal slides that are coated in black, look a bit more authentic if you're creating like a display piece for collectors or customers who are collectors. And another half an hour of sanding, and this is what the barrel looks like. I don't know why these lines are coming out vertical, but I'm not sanding it vertically. I'm going around and round with my hand around it in circular motions, but that's what it looked like on its way. So a little bit more and it should be all the way down. So that's it, guys. That was basically the video showing you what I've done, what we've been working on for the past couple of weeks and having fun with, just using our parts that we have in our inventory, and we're building this rifle from it. So it was pretty fun. I'll tell you the parts that it has inside it, so you know if you don't follow the channel. It is an Action Army one-piece receiver there, Action Army bolt handle, Action Army bolt end cap, original Tokyo Marui top rail there for the scope mounting, an Action Army Teflon coated cylinder, an Action Army piston and 90-degree trigger system. It comes as a set. The original Tokyo Marui plasticky trigger guard there. An Action Army hop-up unit. An Action Army 430mm 6.03 internal diameter inner barrel. An Action Army M130 spring. And an original Tokyo Marui barrel. As you can see, there are some parts which we haven't completely sanded off yet. There are some slight areas here which could do with a bit more work, but unfortunately we ran out of sandpaper, so we're going to have to do that at a later date and just enjoy the work that we've already done so far. So that's it. Thank you very much for checking this video out, guys. Hope you enjoy it. And as we said, we always wanted a silver VSR 10. We know that you can go outside and buy one, mainly the Hunter series of VSR 10s, but we already had the parts and we really didn't want to spend any extra money. We're already stretched thin, as we should say. So this is what we did, this is what we had to work with, and this is what we came up with. Hope you enjoyed the build, and let's do a quick chrono test. Okay, so let's get down to that chrono test. As usual, we're using the Tokyo Marui Perfect Hit 0.2 gram non-biodegradable BBs. And we forgot to say the hop-up rubber we're using is a Maple Leaf Autobot 60 degree. Okay, let's get down to it. $519. $513. Oh, it's not looking too good so far. 7 FPS difference. 515. 512. 506. That tells me that something is not quite tight enough. 513. And that's it. Right, okay, so that concludes the chronograph test. So that's it, guys. That was the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope this video helped someone out there or gave us some insight or just gave you some entertainment. This is something that we've been wanting so long, like a safari, almost like precision rifle type look, silver barreled, silver everything. Well, except for the stock, of course. But this is something that we've been looking forward to working on, and this is something we're very, very pleased with the result. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and we will see you later.